there's one thing I don't like about the DJ Action Cam 3. It's the extending stick that comes with it. This is the one I've had for a little while, and you can see this one's broke again. I did sort of get a little bit of strain on it, and it has cracked the epoxy, although it does seem to be, I shoved it back in, it seems to be fast now. And you look, this is the new one I've hardly used. And, oh no, that one is actually in. That is in. That's still in. I thought it's just the rubber that's come up a little bit. So we're going to need to just fix this one again. To be honest with you, using just the standard epoxy glue that I've got here worked quite well. So we'll try and chip all that off, and we'll try and re-glue it. Whee! That was a little bit more than I had hoped for. Got to find the little notches. There we go. So that's in. Just need to let that dry. It's all about repair work, you know. When you go on the sea, I've noticed, even though it's my second trip, gosh, things don't half wear out and break. I've actually damaged my, in fact I'll come and show you, my DJI Mini 3 Pro's battery charger just stopped working, and then I have actually cleaned this. Where did it go? Yeah, this is the circuit board, and I've actually just been cleaning it all day. You may be able to see it's still mega corroded, and it's just not working, so I've had to buy another one of those. So that's £30. So I had to spend that. I didn't think I'd have to, but there you go. That's sailing on the sea, sort of gets through your electronics. So yeah, loads of repairs. Speaking of repairs, I've been looking into this TP10 tiller pilot again, and I've actually just gone and redone this connector. And as you know, let's move you over here a minute. I've got my little test jack here. Now, let's put this together. You can see, not only is this working much better now. Oh gosh, I've completely forgot. Let's throw this away. Gosh. But I'm sure the lights are a bit brighter. And then look, listen. It's not knocking at all. So, I've been on the forum, or been on a yachting forum, and they've actually, a few people there have said, actually the connection to the TP10 can cause the drive to just get a little bit lumpy. So it's either the connection, which I've sorted out again, because I did have a dicky connection. This is now absolutely rock solid. Or it could be the supply from my other battery just isn't enough. The ampage maybe isn't enough, but I definitely checked the drawer. It doesn't say on here, but I'm sure this was like no more than a couple of amps, even if it's really going for it. So we'll take that back to the boat, give it another test tomorrow, and see if we can get to the bottom of it. But at the moment, that's perfect. So, you know, yeah, at the moment I'm really happy with it again. I've been buying a few things because I've learned quite a lot from the recent trip on the sea, and I wanted to get a few little bits and bobs while my mind was fresh. But also, I've got a few imminent projects coming as well. So the first thing I've done is I've bought a couple of these. I love these dry bags. They work really well for the trip, but my 30-litre dry bags just weren't big enough. So these are the same brand, this sort of Artesol, and so got to be careful how you say that. But these are 45-litre, and as you can see, they'll fit loads of stuff in. And they've got a waterproof little bag inside. Now that bag in there, look, is designed, if you have wet gear, you can pop it in that little sack, say swimming gear or something like that, and it won't wet the rest of the bag, which is a real clever clever thing. It's got a big window so you can actually see what's in the bag, which was interesting because the number of times I opened my camping equipment bag thinking it was my clothing bag, you know, vice versa, to the point I nearly put a little mark on the bags with my Sharpie. But there we go, that helps you look in. It's also got better straps, so it's got this carry handle here, so you can just carry it much more easily. It's got a little loop as well, which is handy, both sides. It also can be carried slung over your shoulder or as a rucksack. Now, I'm not sure if my other ones do that, but this can be brilliant to take on the beach as well and take the pack raft, things like that. So, really excited. It's also got this pocket outside, which I don't think is submersible because it's got a little hole there. So, little toggle. And actually, just to add the last little thing, it's also got a water bottle holder. So not only will these be much better for the boat, but they'll actually be much more utilitarian. I'll be able to actually use them, and the ability to just kind of lift the bag out with everything you need is exactly what I need. So that's the first purchase. Secondly, these are quite cheap. Little funnel and fuel pipe set. So this is actually not for the boat. This is for when I come home. I don't want fuel left in my fuel can for long periods of time because it just doesn't keep. So, you know, what will happen is it will go stale and the outboard won't be able to run off it, or it'll go stale and I'll end up putting it in my car anyway. So I figure it's better to put it in my car straight away because it's just unleaded fuel. And then, you know, when I go on a boat trip, just buy some more fuel as they'll be fresh. And that will allow me to do that. So, you know, it'll also allow me to move fuel between, you know, cans, things like that, which will be useful. So £8 that was off Amazon. We've also got some, what are these? These are just USB cables. So I need longer cables. I was finding charging things up really fiddly. And that's actually why I ended up putting my drone battery charger in the wrong place and it got wet. So I've got some USB cables there. We've also got some, and I've had this before, this is silicon dual core. Is it 16 AWG or 14 AWG? Yeah, black and red. It's really useful wire, doesn't perish, it's really great. So I've got a bit more of that. I need some of that. These are more of these little barrel connectors. Now these ones fit this one, so I've bought some that fit this battery and I've bought some that fit the other battery as spares, and I've got them with the barrel end to them, so you can chop that off and, you know, utilize whatever connection you want. I'm just worried that I may have to use this little power supply down here opposed to the one I've got in the boat because it's just not cutting it at the moment. Albeit that one's quite old, you know, I thought it would be really useful. We'll see. I've got a few tweaks to do tomorrow. I've actually got an Anchor power supply, which will power my, it will charge my Mini Pro batteries up much quicker than the standard USB supply that I've got. So that's a good one. Oh yeah, I bought this, a little hitch, trailer hitch security device. So very fast and easy to fit. So this will stop my trailer from being towed away, and the wheel clamp will hopefully stop it being towed away a bit more. But this was quite cheap, so I thought, well, do you know what? I'm just going to buy it, and hopefully, you know, it is a deterrent, and it will stop people finding my trailer really desirable. And then last thing, I've got some basting tape, just new basting tape. Basting tape you can use to stick fabric that you're sewing down. Instead of having to use pins or clamps, you can stick it down and then sew over the basting tape, and this does wash out. Which reminds me, I've got to wash my pillowcases because they still have this gungy stuff in them. So I've just got a load of that, and that brings me on to the other stuff that I've bought, which is quite exciting. I'm quite excited about this. So first of all, we've got this is like V69 polyester cotton, so it's slightly larger size, and I think it's called coated polyester, and it's just perfect for doing outdoor jobs, marine jobs. So I've got one of them. I need a sort of thing to put in there because these don't bode very well on my, they don't go very well on my sewing machine, but we'll have to deal with that another time. And then this is, it's actually nylon, PU coated, and it's got another coating on the outside as well, and it's got a hydrostatic head rating. You can see it's navy blue, and this is going to be what we're going to make the tent out of. It's 1.5 meters wide, and I think I've got about 20 meters, which is more than enough. So I know you go in YouTube and you put in boat tent and you'll find various people making boat tents, and the majority of them seem to use this sort of poly cotton, or there's a brand name, the old British Army make, begins with V. I'm trying to think of the name of it now, but it escapes me. And it's made by a Swiss company, and if you go to Roger Barnes' website or to YouTube site, you'll see he's made his new tent out the same thing, and it's very, very tightly woven cotton, and it sort of stretches when it's wet, and it contracts when it's wet, sorry, and that's where it gets its waterproofing from. I prefer more modern ways of doing things, as you might have guessed, so I'm not a big fan of the cotton, for a number of reasons really. First of all, I kind of trust the newer stuff more than the older stuff, to be frank, you know, if I'm being really honest about it. I like the coated nylon, the Ripstop. The other big reason is that the lightness of this fabric. This is going to be like having a little nylon tent on the boat, whereas the cotton is going to add quite a lot of weight, and I'm not into weight on the boat, so that's the other reason. You see, I might still want to carry my little tent for, you know, when we want to just camp ashore, or we're going to dry out. I don't know, you know, I want to have that option. The other reason is this will dry out much quicker. That's one of the major downsides of the cotton, is that it can take an age to dry out. It'll mould, it can rot. This, you know, is very lightweight. It dries out really quickly. So, you know, look, the strength of each of them, I don't really know whether nylon, I mean, nylon is exceptionally strong. I don't know how strong the cotton is. I imagine the cotton's a bit more strong against sort of prodding it, you know, whereas nylon's stronger probably in a pulling manner. I don't know. I'm still going to reinforce where the eyelets are going to go on this, so it's going to be, you know, lots to do with that. I've gone for a navy blue. I wanted to go for black, but the black just looked a bit weird on the boat, I think. So navy blue it is. The reason for that is I don't want the tent to be too bright. Otherwise you don't get any sleep. And, you know, if you're sailing, and sometimes you might want to catch a 4 o'clock tide, in, you know, 4 in the morning tide or something, you know, you need your sleep. So, you know, you might want to get to bed a bit earlier, and it might be light, and you don't want this bright tent. So that's the rationale behind it. I also figured a darker colour would show the marks less. It would absorb the warmth a little bit more. So I'm more worried if I'm too hot, I can open a door. If I'm too cold, you know, there's not much you can do about that. So, you know, that's what I've gone for. I've got quite a lot of this webbing that I've been using for various things. And the black on the blue will kind of go fairly well. I don't think you'll notice it too much. And that webbing is going to be used for, you know, where we're going to put eyelets in and things like that. So, you know, we've got everything we need. Little did you probably realise, you know, we're very happy coming up on the shore, having our little campsite there, and it was fine, you know, it was absolutely fine. But it would be better if you could anchor out, maybe use tadpole to get up some river to get some food maybe, or go to a pub, and then, you know, go back to the boat. And, you know, I think it would be pretty cool to be able to do that. And I kind of miss, I think that for a proper dinghy cruising experience, you've got to have some kind of way of sleeping on the boat. I might hate it, but we're going to go for it anyway. Design wise, I'll very quickly go through this. I'll probably go through it again tomorrow, or in the next video. But design wise, I'm pretty much settled on a triangle tent. We're going to run a line in between the two masts. We're going to just drape this over. and then we are going to basically create the apex flat sides of the tent first, and then we're going to work out how we're going to do each end. So you know, there's a number of ways we could do that. We could run it around the gunnels at the bow. We could have it flat, which would be the easiest way of doing it, or we could have it slightly sloping out like a, you know, proper tent has it. At this point in time, I'm not sure, but yeah, that's why we're going down with all the stuff with us tomorrow. So there we go. Yes, very excited, very excited.